Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am once again Nick El-Tawil, and I'm here with my guest today, Matt Derdivanis. Matt, how you doing?
Good, you?
Good, man. How are you? Obviously, I just asked you how you are.
Yeah.
You ever have those instinctual reactions, like you're in a movie theater, someone's like, "Oh, I hope you enjoy the movie," and you're just like, "You too," or something.
Yeah, then you see each other again. And you're like, do I have to say, it's awkward because you're like, do I say goodbye to you again when I already just said goodbye to you? It's like when you're in a Target or a store and you see someone again after you just said goodbye.
Yeah.
It's that moment of like, what do you do then? When you see them again after you just said goodbye and you see them in another aisle, do you say goodbye to them again or do you just pretend like you don't see them?
I think we just had one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So Matt, you've been selling real estate here in Arizona for a while. We've talked a little bit, but I know you work with Aaron Benson a lot. Yeah.
I grew up with him. Known him since elementary school.
Where'd you guys grow up?
I grew up here. I was born here, but my dad took a job with the Pirates in Pittsburgh, and he was there till '92 when they didn't renew his contract. And we came down here and attended Sequoia, Cocopah, and Chaparral.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron and I knew each other from way back during Sequoia years.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of what we had worked. You know, he knew me from the inside out, and he knew the way that I worked. He knew how to finesse. You know, as a partner, he had his strengths, I had mine, and what we had just worked.
And I know your strengths because I've seen it live. I remember you guys had that listing on Kaler, like on the top of Piestewa Peak.
Yeah.
It's like a $5 million house at the very tip top of the mountain.
Yeah.
You got that off a cold call?
Yeah, so
you're a cold call.
I was going through a really tough time. My mom was still battling leukemia at the time. A lot of just moving parts, and I feel like it was one of my darkest years. Went through a lot of hardships, and a lot of people, you try not to be too personal, but there's a backstory to everything, and sometimes there's a lot going on, even though you don't see it on the gram or social media. Everyone has a backstory, and during that time, that was a really hard year for me, really, really hard, and I just told myself, I gotta find my way out, and I gotta make something happen for me that's lucrative. And I know from what I've known, all it takes is one call, one opportunity to literally change your entire history, your entire dynamic, and your entire life. And so I told myself I'm going to go to the office and I'm just going to make one call. I looked him up off Forehorn. I saw that it had been expired from a former broker agent. Didn't know who the guy was. Didn't really care. And made the call, not know who was going to answer on the other line. And it was, I guess, the property manager. He was really and very well connected with the homeowners. And he literally just said, go take a tour of the property. Here's the lockbox code. I was like, but you don't even know me. I could be some just weirdo. And he said, literally, it was the way that you spoke to me. It was the way within the first 10 seconds of your phone call, it was what you said that showed me that it caught my attention. It's when you the first 10 seconds of breaking the ice with somebody, that can make or break you. Your phone call, your opportunity. And he just said, I like the way you talk. You know, is this the way you normally talk? I said, yeah. And he literally said, it's very ballsy of you. And I said, frankly, sometimes you have to do what you got to do. And like Grant Cardone said, squeaky wheels get the oil. He laughed and he said, go take a look at the property. And I called Aaron. Aaron thinks it's some run-of-the-mill PV property. He shows up to the address and we start walking up the elevated driveway and he looks at me and he goes, all right, Diesel. I had,
Diesel?
Diesel's my nickname. Aaron gave that to me because...
Like Shaq.
Not like Shaq. For me, it just was my build and my determination, a lot of my personality traits. And he looks over at me and goes, all right, Diesel, you're right. I was wrong. This is quite remarkable. And I looked over him with a cheeky grin, cheeky smile. And I kind of knew in my heart, through just me being me, the Holy Spirit, what spoke to me, I just knew that this opportunity was meant for us. Like this specific opportunity was waiting all these years for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt good. I felt something about that spoke to me and told me, okay, this is that one opportunity. This is going to change it all. And Aaron said, grab your rosaries and pray to the man up high. And so that's what I did. And next thing I know, we get the listing. And I just kind of followed Aaron's lead. I don't necessarily like to be the guy in the front. I like to kind of lead from the back. I'm not selfish when it comes to who gets what role. Primary, co-lister. I believe if everyone's happy at the end of the day and we're able to execute the job and everyone gets paid and everyone's happy, that's what matters to me. As long as the Holy Spirit's still in the room when we get done, that's all I really care about. And the way that we executed, the way that we delivered, I really felt like the Holy Spirit was strong with us. I told Aaron that. I said, I know you are Jewish. I understand where you come from. But I feel like in this opportunity, because of what I've been through, I feel like God and the Holy Spirit kept me. I felt like we were delivered during that moment. And it was a huge blessing. That literally changed my entire life over the course of a couple weeks. 93 days we sold it. They called it the curse of Kaler because nobody was able to sell it in 4 years. And I'm extremely grateful. During that time, Aaron definitely was, he did more for me than what most people would do for somebody. Put me up when I had no place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
When I had no Christmas with family, he showed up. And I remember when he cut me the check from Tidal in his kitchen, I felt like I had nothing. I feel like when you go through a season of drought, when's my harvest? And you just feel like everything's kind of dried up for you. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And when Aaron, presented me that check, I just remember tears, literally in my eyes. Because I really feel like I went through one of the hardest seasons of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept me up. So that we had what we had worked.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm just incredibly blessed. And I know a lot of people work their entire careers to achieve such prominence. And so I'm grateful for that.
That's cool, man. And it sounds like your back was against the wall.
Literally, my back.
So it's like life was beating on you, and that's when some of the good stuff comes out.
Well, I know The Rock used to always say when your back's up against the wall, you break the goddamn thing down.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of opposition. I feel like people see different shades of people. But when you peel back the layers of the onion, it's when you do that, when you really get to know somebody. And a lot of us have our stories, a lot of us have our hardships. And I feel like a lot of us get pegged wrong, painted wrong in different portrayals. And it's not easy trying to find your way in such a difficult career. It's like when you try to find your way and you're too ambitious, sometimes you're painted in different light. But when you're new and you're trying to find your way, you don't mean to vocalize so much. You don't mean to be a certain way or look a certain way. But in this life, you'll learn that it's very hard to get judged in the right way. It's very hard to get painted in the right way, especially when you got fight or flight syndrome, when you're just trying to make a name for yourself. So I'm just grateful for the fact that God didn't lead me back then. He still hasn't left me now.
I was telling the story the other day when I first got into real estate. I didn't sleep for the first month. I literally just could not sleep. I would lie down in bed. My alarm would go off in the morning, and I would just hadn't slept. First month, finally closed a little rental deal, and as soon as I did that, I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I was finally able to sleep.
That's what it takes.
Because there was no backup plan. There was nothing. Yeah, there was no there's
no plan B.
Yeah.
Some of us were not meant for being an entrepreneurial-minded individual. I feel like some of us we're not meant to be We're not meant to be boxed in. We are not meant for certain seasons. We're not meant for certain opportunities. We're not meant to be categorized. We are just out of the box thinkers. We we're just hustlers, and our way of thinking is not meant for the traditional corporate mindset. We're labeled as insubordinate. It's not being insubordinate. It's just we are creative thinkers.
Oh yeah, I get fired from every job.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. And it's always your insubordinate or your problem. It's not so much that, it's we think outside of the box so creatively that traditional mindsets in that space, they have chosen to adapt a conditional mindset.
Right, where things have to be done this way, and if you're not done this way, then there's a problem and it becomes toxic. I still blame myself for my actions pretty much every time, but at the same time, it's like you can recognize when that environment was just maybe a little toxic. And it's toxic because of the forces outside of your control.
Correct. You have
still
to
got to own up to your actions every time.
Yeah, I feel like you have to own certain traits, certain things. You always have to own certain aspects of your life. Never be afraid to own it, but also forgive yourself for other people's indiscretions and their trespasses. Don't always put everything on you. So that's why I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
But people, you'll find they don't want you to own your life. They want to rather own your life. They want you to feel victimized. They don't want you to establish boundaries. When you start promoting yourself from within, that's when you find the most opposition. Get where I'm going with that? They want you to...
I don't hang out with haters. Sounds like those are haters.
I think you have haters no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter what you say.
I know what you're saying. There are people out there who don't, hate you when your light shines. And those are the people you got to surround yourself with.
It's difficult finding that.
It's difficult finding that.
It is. And when you come from parents or certain generational curses, and you end up being the one that breaks those curses, you automatically are labeled, a certain way to the family. And it's okay to be the different, the one that breaks those curses. It's okay to be the one that stands apart. And I really want people to familiarize themselves with the ability to stand apart. Because if you never stand apart in your own beauty, in your own significance, you'll never be able to properly own yourself. And it's important you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us, we lack self-love. And I fail at that miserably. I look like a tough guy, but I find it very difficult to even love myself. And it's difficult when you're in a season of aloneness, and you're still having to look at yourself in the mirror and own yourself and own your own heart and be like, I love you, when not many people have loved you back.
I didn't know we were going this deep on the podcast today, man, but I love that you brought it. What were you doing before real estate, by the way?
I did a lot. I tell people I just get in where I fit in. I got in where I fit in, and not happy with some of the things I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to, for me back then, whether it was fast money or earned, I just was trying to find my way. And I did a lot of things. I've done construction. I've worked in medical facilities. I also have a family member who is in the entertainment industry who I provided services for. I was his bodyguard. And not many people know about that. My godfather was the famed Disney animator Don Bluth. And so he's now 88. So I basically lived with him for a few years, was his bodyguard, and kind of in return learned to re-walk life. Because back then I just was kind of a little wayward. And in return he was kind of like my Mr. Miyagi to my Karate Kid almost, in a way. And without him I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So that's I've done a lot. Frankly, I've done a lot.
I always tell people, if I did all the things I was supposed to do, I wouldn't be a fucking real estate agent.
No, no, and sometimes you think, is this where I'm supposed to be? I think about that daily. Am I supposed to be in real estate? God guide me, because sometimes you feel like you don't know if this is meant for you.
It's a sweet gig once you get it going.
It is, but you still. Sometimes I feel as though I'm mad at myself because I should have been more in alignment with myself. I should have had more opportunities. I should be positioned better. I feel like sometimes I should have had so much more success than I've had. Very hard on myself, but maybe that's because I have this drive to be approved. And so some of us entrepreneurs, we want to be approved so bad, we want to prove people wrong, just because of the things that have stayed, within us, the things that have just kind of festered within us. When your purpose is stronger than your why, I think it definitely leaves you up at night a lot. You lose sleep over it. But that also makes you more ambitious, much more successful in the long term. Because some people, they just go through the motions. Oh, just real estate. When you have a real strong purpose, you don't need your why. And for me, I understand when you say you're up at night, you think your brain is constantly just going and going and going, and you lose sleep over it. Because you think, just, am I good enough? I want this deal. Will I be able to get that deal?
Oh, I'm numb to it now. That was when I was brand new. Now I'm like, man, something happens. I'm just like, all right, I'm taking a nap.
So what made, so you came from New York, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember you said you worked for, you spent some time working alongside or around Ryan Serrand.
Yeah, so we were at Nest Seekers together. I was on his team for a hot minute, but I was a solo agent at Nest Seekers, and I was doing just fine, so the team thing wasn't for me.
What brought you down here?
I'm born and raised in Arizona.
Okay.
So I went there, I wanted to be Kanye West when I was in high school. The old Kanye.
Okay, the old Kanye.
The one who made the beats. And so I was, making tracks on my laptop, and I made thousands of songs.
Oh, wow.
And I did a semester at ASU, but I grew up here, so it was just like high school continued.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a culture of creativity out here. I was just like, you know what? I always wanted to live in New York. I'll just go to school out there. So I went to school in New York. While I was out there, I was still making music. Applied to every single record label. No one hired me. But while I was in school, I met a friend whose family owned a bunch of properties around New York City. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, you know what? This might be a good connection for me.
Yeah.
One thing leads to another. They told me to get my license to be a broker. Because they don't do the realtor thing out there. So it's like broker.
Is it really as... What is your opinion, your thought process on achieving your broker's license versus just being a realtor?
So that's what I'm saying, is like they said broker even though they just meant realtor. Had they said realtor, I would have been like, oh, I don't want to be a realtor. Yeah. But broker sounds nice.
Is it overhyped?
The actual broker license, I think everyone should get it. Yeah. It's a very easy thing to do. It's 90 hours instead of 30 or 45.
Okay. So
it's not that much more work. And then you can just, if you ever get into a situation where, maybe a bridge was burned or your company just starts messing with you or something like that, you just have your broker license. Okay. You just activate it. You can still do deals.
It costs money, obviously, to create your own brokerage, though.
So you could be an independent, or not an independent, a sole proprietor.
Okay.
So if you have a broker license, you just click the sole proprietor button. Okay. You're good to go.
Thought about that a few times, but I heard it's overplayed, and it's over.
I would recommend everybody gets it, because you never know what's going to happen. You work for a company.
Yeah.
Something bad happens. You have to leave. Oh, I still have these deals there. Like, oh my God, I can't work. Now you have to struggle and find a company last minute. Yeah. So if you're treating it like a full-time job, I highly recommend a broker license. Yeah.
I thought about it. I saw the prices went up. It's like $700 now.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, I'm on my continuing ed right now, so I don't remember what I paid. But
I mean, I understand it's all about value. And if the value exchange is there, then it's an investment in yourself. And sometimes you have to spend what what you believe you're valued at.
Yeah, I mean, what's the value of you not being able to work for a week because something happened, you left a company and you got to find a new brokerage.
Yeah.
Like, how much is that worth to you? Or what's the value of, just servicing your clients properly? Like, I cannot transact real estate, or if I'm not licensed, I can't get paid. Something goes wrong. It's just an insurance policy.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And I highly recommend it.
It's hard. It's hard to find. There's so many different personalities in real estate, as with anything else. But it's not easy trying to find your way in such a diverse and difficult space.
Yeah, it's a people business, man.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
But when you're hungry, when you really, when you're very overambitious, it creates its own set of problems. And being East Coast, that just is who I was. It's what I knew, and it didn't make it any easier on myself. But I'm grateful for the people that have mentored me, like, for example, Frank Azami. He's been a big, monumental role in my life. And I remember calling him the other day and just kind of expressing, my thoughts in regards to real estate and luxury. And he said, "You remind me of myself when I was your age. Very, very aggressive. You're just trying to find your place." It's difficult because when you're that aggressive, when you're that hungry, it can technically create its own set of problems. It's not easy being liked. It's not easy being accepted, and you have to accept the fact that you're not going to always be liked or loved or appreciated or valued. And I feel like that's one of the most difficult things for me. I lose sleep over because I want to be liked and loved so bad. Even though I might not show it, deep down inside, I do care. I love people, and I think I'm doing this whole thing to prove to people that for those of you who feel like you're meaningless, I want you to know that you're not out here alone, and that you're fully capable, and that God sees you as a gift. You're monumental to yourself, even though you might not be that to other people. A lot of people are dropping out of life because they just feel like it's not worth it anymore. It's not valued. They don't feel the love exchange. And with mental health being a huge issue in today's world, I feel like we need to spend more time trying to open ourselves up to other people and find the parts that maybe we didn't technically choose to see in other people. We have to step outside of ourselves, and I feel like that's the challenging part for a lot of people. If we did a better job at that, I don't think we would be seeing so much mental illness, and people just going through the motions, feeling meaningless. You can be a realtor all day, any day. You can get that money, go ahead. But if you're lacking the ability to feel loved at the end of the day, all you're doing is just you're stashing away money without purpose, without reason. You're just going through the motions. When you add reason to, when you add value to it, when you add purpose into it, things just become so much more powerful. So that's one of the biggest things I've been trying to find myself through, is the ability to accept the fact that not everybody loves you, not everyone will appreciate you, and that's okay. Because the only thing that matters is how you show up for yourself. And at the end of the day, I'm not a perfect individual, but I know that God's got me. So that's just my whole perspective.
How's that Jay-Z line go? It's something that I don't care if you love me, but you well respect me. Simple as that. As long as you got respect from people.
You can demand respect.
You earn respect.
Yeah, you can earn respect.
Earn respect.
Doesn't mean that they love you. Doesn't mean that they appreciate you. I think I want people to see, for me, going through the things that I went through, such as, health scares, car accidents, 2 of them that were supposed to have claimed my life. When you see everything flash before your eyes, and you realize that you barely skated by you start to get a different perception of life and how you need to view life. And at the end of the day, I want to be able to sleep at night with both eyes closed, knowing that I did God right, I did everyone else right, never did bad business. And you'll see me a lot of the time when I flip listings and I give them to other people, I'll hand off expireds and get contact info and send them off to friends of mine, just because I know that when you take care of your circle, you'll always be responded back with loyalty. And if I know that my circle is winning, knowing that they're able to put food on the table for their loved ones, when they know that they're cared about and cared for me, I can sleep better at night. I'm not a selfish individual. I want people to know that they matter. I want people to know that they're capable. If I have to give them a $3 million listing so they feel like they did something significant with their life, maybe your dad, your mom told you weren't worth it, you didn't matter. I want you to feel like you matter because you did something significant. And if I have to help you pull yourself up by the bootstraps because I didn't get that, it's almost like you're fixing a part of you. Real estate for me is like being a surgeon. I believe I'm fixing parts of myself that were so severely damaged that maybe it helps me fix myself a little bit more and patch up the holes that have formed within me. It's deeper than just real estate. I'm a human being with a beating heart. I'm not a realtor.
I don't think I can top that, people. Matt, you got anything else for us today?
No, I just want to say I appreciate you for always making time and showing compassion back. I knew when I was going through a hard time last year, or I believe it was last year, you showed up. You never once judged, and you had empathy, which a lot of people don't. It's hard to get that from people. So I want you to know I appreciate the way in which you showed up, because that mattered to me.
Right on, brother. Matt Derdivanis, everybody. Check him out.
I'm selling
Thanks,
AZ on Instagram.